Hi everyone. It's the last day of National Poetry Month, so here's one more poetry related video. Yesterday I posted a read aloud of a book called Daniel Finds a Poem, and it inspired me to post about some found poetry projects that you can do at home. Found poetry is when you make a poem out of words or phrases that you take from something else. Like yesterday, for example, I saw a poem that someone had made by using the first sentence of some of the emails that she's received during quarantine. Now, the way that she put all of those together was definitely like a special way to use words to express her feelings and her ideas about quarantine. It was poetry in that way, but since she didn't come up with the words that she was using, you could say that she kind of found this poem. So, found poetry. If you want to see some cool examples, or I hope you think they're cool examples of found poetry and learn about how you can make some of your own, then this video is for you. So one kind of found poetry that is popular with librarians especially is called book spine poetry. So for book spine poetry, you stack up books so that the book titles make a poem. And I'm going to show you some photos of some that I made at home recently. All right, the Mysterious Benedict Society, real friends, best friends, friendship to the max. Next, the imaginary, half magic ice wolves, incredible animals. Oh, this one rhymes. A bird's eye view. Night, night bird. Dawn, white bird. And here's one that's just silly. Confessions. Everyone poops. It's perfectly normal. So I hope you liked my book spine poetry. For the most part, I was trying to be funny, but your book spine poetry doesn't have to be funny. It might be very serious. It might be very profound. It could be. Or it could just be fun and silly. Whatever you decide to do. But if you decide to make book spine poetry at your house, I'd love to see what you find. Take a photo and send it to me at library@memphismontessori.org, okay? Another type of found poetry that you can make is to cut out words or phrases, like groups of words together, from an old magazine, newspaper, catalog. It could be a cereal box, whatever you have around that it's okay for you to cut up, right? Don't do like your parents' magazine they haven't read yet. That would be a bad idea. So actually in libraries, sometimes we even use old books that are damaged so badly we can't use them. Sometimes we'll cut words out of them to use for projects like this. But you can take those words out and rearrange them into a poem. And that is found poetry. So here's a poem that I found. This is an article about feeding cows seaweed to reduce their methane emissions, which is a polite way of saying burps and farts, which doing that was supposed to be better for the environment. So I decided to also use the photo of the cow that came with the article to illustrate my found poem. I'll read my poem for you now. Hold on to your heifers. Every morning when cows eat, they burp. Look, cud chewers, in the future, cows snacking on seaweed burp less to fight climate change. my poem seems like it's blaming cows a little bit for burping so much, but I should say it's really not the cow's fault, so don't take it personally, cows. So that method of moving the words around might remind some of you of something called magnet poetry. Have you seen these little magnets that have words on them and then you can move them around to make poems or messages? That is found poetry, of course. So these days, I used to have some magnet poetry, but I don't know what happened to it. It's gone. So I don't have magnet poetry here at my house, but I did find a website online where you can move magnets around to make poems and messages. So if you go to the website, I'll put the link in the description. If you go to this website, you can do virtual magnet poetry. Okay, here's the site. You have Nature Poet or Geek, and you just click on one of those to get started. This is what the screen looks like. You can just move the words around to make a poem. Once your poem is complete, you can send it as an email to someone. So it's kind of cool. I'll put a link to that site in the description if you want to try some. Send me your compositions if you want. Again, it's library@memphismontessori.org, and I would love to see what you find. Another website for making found poetry that you might like is the Blackout Poetry Generator. So I'll put a link in the description for this as well. It gives you a passage, which is just like a part of a book, a portion, like a page or so of a book, and you can choose a few words to make a poem. And then it will black out the rest of the words. Now you can also do this with a marker and an old magazine, a badly damaged book, something that you were going to throw out. I don't really have anything like that I want to work with at my house, so I just did the online option. And I'll share mine here. Remember, if you decide to make one, you can send me a copy to read at library@memphismontessori.org. So here's mine. All right, this website, you start by clicking on the words that you want to use, and that selects the words. Once you've picked out all the words that you want to use to make your poem, then you're going to use the blackout button at the bottom. In just a second, you'll see what happens when you do that. There. And you have a very dramatic looking blackout poem. At the bottom of the screen, there's an option that says render as an image, and that will let you save your poem to your pictures on your device. Very cool. Okay, that's all I have to show you today about found poetry. I hope some of you will share some found poems with me. I'll be watching my inbox. Thanks for watching. See you later.